Friends, hello. Welcome to another edition of Love Wrestling Reacts right here on, Love Wrestling. Of course, Spencer Love here. Jesus, we've got to find a better way to introduce this without saying the word. Welcome to L'Amour Wrestling Reacts. It's good to see all of you guys following the throwback edition of Smackdown, and it is good to see the three gentlemen joining me here tonight. If you guys are in the comments, whether you're watching on Twitch, Facebook Live, or YouTube, feel free to say hi. Let us know how you felt about tonight's episode, because I think I at least tentatively speak for all of us in here, and that this was a fairly solid episode, even by SmackDown's not lofty standards. I think there's certainly been some better tenures, I guess, of SmackDown and of WWE programming, but solid programming overall, and that continued again tonight. Before we get to that, though, Josh, we'll turn to you first, man. How are you doing, friend? Good to see you.
Fantastic. I don't really watch a lot of wrestling in the week anymore, so it's nice to sit down and watch some wrestling.
It is. I thought you were NXT exclusive. It's nice to get a nice little appearance talking about the blue brand. We've got the wild card rule, or whatever the hell rule they're going by, the cross brand invitational. That's the one I'm going to impose to excuse Josh's appearance tonight. Joe, you're a man of many trades. You're a Joe of many trades, appearing across Love Wrestling. It's good to see you, man. How are things?
Things are good. Like Josh, I don't watch the SmackDown or Raw weekly. I pay attention to it, but I don't watch it live all the time. So it was good to watch the episode tonight. And like you said, it was a pretty enjoyable episode. So, I'm excited to talk about it with you guys for sure.
Couldn't agree more. And Parrish, last but certainly not least, it is good to see you once again, my friend. How are you? How are things? Looking especially good on, I guess, your right, but our left side of your screens there, friend.
Well, I mean, I kind of shaved. Oh, you mean the beautiful new gear? If Alberta can get its proverbial shit together, maybe we can run some shows, and I could debut these bad boys. But we're not
debuting them now.
We're going to talk about Smackdown, the retro, which I don't know about you guys. No fist, not happy.
No, you know what? The virtual fist simply was not the same. I agree. It was frustrating, as the kids are saying, but say la vie. Mighty Joe hopping into the comments saying, just wanted to make sure we filled the Joe quota. Yeah, it's good to see you. The nice thing is I'm not going to be at least confusing you guys, as I probably will be this Sunday morning. But as you said, Joe, we are here to talk some SmackDown. Tom hopping in the chat, I need some tights like that. Yeah, you do, and good to see you, friend. Great to see you, friend.
Well,
let's not even just say
go
good.
To Super Taunt on the Twitter.
Absolutely.
She's the one who made these. She does a beautiful job.
And a good human being as well. But let's get back to the blue brand. Of course, as it has been over the last little bit, it was a very, very Roman Reigns bloodline-centric show. Again, as is the usual, by no means is that a complaint. Starting off tonight, and as per usual, sort of jump all over the card, but starting off with the return of Jimmy Uso for the first time since Hell in a Cell, which was referenced early and often tonight. We haven't seen him, I don't think, like even as far as interview segments, anything like that. I don't think he's been on programming since then. So definitely a surprising return. I at least hadn't heard any rumors of it tonight, and he was very, very influential across tonight's programming. Exciting to see him, though. Joe, how are you feeling on the return of brother Jimmy?
I was very pumped. I wasn't expecting it. We all knew he was coming back sometime soon. But there was no inklings. Exactly. Yeah. There was no inklings, no warning, whatever. It was just a nice surprise. And this Roman Reigns stuff has been gold since it started. So to keep it going and adding him in there now, especially how it played out throughout the night with kind of, almost how it played out to start with Jay back when it was happening. Like it was just, I'm all in. And now you add Jay in the middle, and I'm bought in. I have been. I loved it.
Completely agree. Josh, your thoughts on main event Jimmy Uso, I suppose, making his return?
It doesn't really have the same ring.
No, it doesn't, and that's why I sort of like I don't want to give him any discredit. I felt like he had to at least get a shot at the nickname. Doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well.
Before I go, like we've got four stages in an evolution of facial hair going on from you to Joe. It just kind of goes like, I don't know. That's how masculine of me, hey, to talk about facial hair.
And then you know me, the guy who
can talk facial hair.
I shaved specifically for this. Yeah, come on, Parrish. Come on, you can do it.
I don't remember what a point.
To the sign. I think you point to the sign.
That's exactly it. There we go. There's the default.
You mean
There's the
Love
default.
Wrestling sign? Hey.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
I'm going to talk about Jimmy Uso now. So Jimmy Uso come back. It was cool to see him come back. I really thought we were going to get him back at like WrestleMania. It was like a cool little spot. It's like, oh, maybe he'll come back and be with the thing. I'm glad it's not like the kind of, I don't want to say predictable because it's not the predictable thing to do. There's many things you can do here, but like there's tension and they are building it like the Jay stuff. And if anything, people like to have a little bit of a cry about how WWE doesn't do long-term story. Well, this is something that's been developing for a long, long time. And like, it's just been, there's nothing to complain about with this. It's just been really well done. And like, you don't have to always have it at the forefront of your brain, but you go, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that did happen. I forgot that happened. So much happens in between and there's so many different elements. It's really cool. So I have nothing else to really say other than it was just cool. It wasn't like groundbreaking, never been before done, but it doesn't always have to be like that with wrestling. So I like what they're doing, and it just adds another little element into the Cesaro stuff along with all the other things that's going on as well. So I liked it. Yeah,
and a great shout to Cesaro as well tonight. He was just on fire. El Fuego, as Guy Fieri would say it. He was just fantastic tonight. Like, he's, again, I feel like I say this every time we're talking about Cesaro, but that guy's an underrated promo. Underrated, underappreciated, under any word you can put on it. Like, the fact that he's, number one, he's just good with words, but the passion behind it now, I think he's always had some semblance of it, but much like a lot of individuals, I think, on the Smackdown end of things, like, he's really just firing on all cylinders, for lack of a better way to put it, right? His wrestling's always been there to sound like a dick, you know what I mean? It's always been there, though. Like, anybody who's everybody and everybody who's nobody, like myself, can tell you that the guy's one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. And coming out in the main event segment tonight and laying waste to 3 dudes and coming out at the start of the show tonight and cutting an impassioned promo was absolutely fantastic. So, Parrish, I'll let you touch on the Uso stuff for sure, but just on Cesaro's end, I know you're a fan of his, so maybe take me a little bit through your thoughts on not just tonight, but his last few weeks.
Well, a little known fact, we all know that Cesaro doesn't drink beer, but when I was down in Chicago for WrestleMania 22, went to see a Ring of Honor show, and one Claudio Castagnoli actually bought me a beer, which I thought was absolutely amazing.
Good
the guy
dude,
not
Cesaro.
only is a perfect pro wrestler, an up-and-coming promo guy who's just killing it right now, but he is, on top of all that, one of the best and nicest guys you'll ever meet. With that being
I got no
said,
doubt on that.
This push is superly overdue because he should have had this push when he broke away from Oksana. That's a throwback.
I was just gonna say there's one for the archives.
But then he absolutely rose again when he teamed up with Tyson Kidd. He then rose again when he teamed up with Jack Swagger. He then rose again when he tagged up with Sheamus. And then he rose again. Now, all that guy does is rise up and delivers. And the fact that it's taken this long to push him and to appreciate what he's capable of doing when he absolutely killed it years ago with John Cena, like, yes,
Guy's a stud.
It's amazing. It's overdue, but at the very time, there is no one else in this business that deserves it more than Cesaro.
I disagree.
Can I tag in?
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, you know what, Josh? I'll give you the big screen to do so. But first, I just want to make sure we shout out our couple of friends in the comments. Ed, great to see you as always, friend. Really enjoyed Smackdown tonight. Show was pretty good from start to finish. Completely agree. And Wrestling Plug, All Rise Like a Barney Stinson hype album. Well done on that one. Josh, the screen is yours.
Okay, so like bouncing off what Parrish said, it is like really overdue. It's really ready. But I will say one thing about that. It's like it wouldn't be as overdue and ready if that stuff happened 5 years ago. If this was happening 5 years ago, we wouldn't be saying like Cesaro is getting his first ever one-on-one world championship match in a WWE ring. It's like it's because of all of the times that we're like, he's ready now. He's ready now. No, he's ready now over the years and years and years. It's like, this is the perfect time to do it. And without all of that time when everyone was saying, why isn't he being pushed? It wouldn't feel as like big as it is now to be honest, on a B level show that we're going into at, I'm not calling it WrestleMania Backlash. At Backlash, it's like a B level show. And we have, let's be honest, I'm not going to try and overhype anything, but you look at that on paper, Roman and Cesaro we could be talking about that one for a very long time, regardless of the result. So without all of these times where it's like, why didn't he do this when he broke up with Oksana? Why didn't he do this when he broke up with Tyson Kidd? It wouldn't feel as cool as it is right now. It's like patience is a virtue, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's better to let things over percolate than under percolate. Like, I'm sure we can all think of individuals, and we're not going to name names because we're not dicks. But I'm sure we can all think of people who came up to the main roster or WWE newly signed and pushed right out the gate, and maybe were given too much too soon, and not even a discredit to the talent, anything along those lines, just were given that too much too soon. Now, Parrish, I would tend to agree with you in that I would have loved to have seen Cesaro pushed. Like, the first thing that would have come to mind for me is right after that Andre the Giant Battle Royal win.
Yes.
You could have gone on from there, but I also, like, I completely buy into you, Josh, is maybe they do push him there, and it's not as successful because maybe he doesn't have the confidence on the microphone he does now, or whatever you want to throw on there as the reason, not the excuse, the reason. Maguminati, great name. Good to see you, friend. Throwing up the JPJs, the evolution of the beards. We'll be talking about that on Sunday Brunch here sooner rather than later. Oh, Nightbot, I got to figure that out. Ed, we didn't mean to give you the warning there. I'll figure that one out. I'm going to learn.
Leave that with me. I can fix that.
What a heel that Nightbot is. But
we're just learning. I've told everyone I'm an old man. We tried to put it in because I need to figure things
move on
out.
After this, unless Josh, you want to like have that chance. If you would have pushed Cesaro 3 or 4 years ago, he could be one of those stars that Roman is as well today. So we don't know what it could have been. And I'm just saying, like, we know that he's had this potential for a lot of times. And yes, maybe this is the best time. That's hearsay. So it's really a moot point at best to really argue this. But he could have been a main event guy, and we could have more star power in today's WWE. And WrestleMania may not have been such a kind of letdown in the build-up because of that star power.
Hello, everyone joining us from Tom's Raid. Hello, Tom, especially because you've done this a couple of times over the last little bit. And gosh, you're nice for it. I really, really appreciate it. A big hello to you as well, Gabe. And of course, a big hello to Giddy. Thank you for joining us, friends. Thoughts on the best tag team maybe ever formed, the one and only RK Bro. Randy Orton as like the staunch, serious old man in any setting is something I love. That's the best I've got for that. I'm friggin' loving Randy Orton. I'm absolutely loving it. That guy, oh, he's so good. He's
I showed my wife yesterday that, dude, I don't know what planet you're from. I'm from Earth. And he's like, we don't have a lot in common, except we're both from Earth. And she laughed her tail off. Like, it's just the chemistry between those two are fantastic.
Completely agree. We love Josh and Giddy. Hashtag the new iconics. All right, I got time for that. 2 handsome Australians. We'll go with it. We can go with that. 100%. Ha! Hadn't even sent the raid yet, Chelsea. Well, that's completely fine. We're going to continue to thank all of you guys anyways. Once again, for tuning into Love Wrestling Reacts. We're chatting Smackdown and the throwback edition that took place this evening. We chatted a lot on Roman Reigns. We chatted a lot on Cesaro. We are happy to continue to do so. But let's maybe add some Seth Rollins to the mix, because I think that we all talked about how excellent the opening segment was, obviously leading into an absolutely fantastic match. But he's very underappreciated in the way I think he plays things as this character. A lot of people, at least on my timeline, didn't have a lot of time. Tom Raid, oh my goodness, what a surprise. Hello, you guys. Thank you once again, sarcasm aside. Seth Rollins is really, really great in this role as a very different smarmy, dickish heel than he's been before. You know what I mean? Like, I've loved the little subtleties, like even the fact that he's turning to Jay and Jimmy Uso in the middle of this match and telling him, I've got this, leave it alone, rather than taking the help, isn't something a traditional heel would do. And not anything he would have done is his sort of past J&J security authority sort of run of things, right? Sorry, Seth with the drip, my apologies. And yeah, Seth did good work this week. It's a very different dynamic between him and Roman. And Joe, I haven't turned to you first, so I'll let you pick up with the thought Tom threw out there. The thoughts on Seth Rollins, the match, and then, of course, I'll let you pick up on maybe the post-match discussion.
Yeah.
Parlay, that's the word I want to use.
I thought the match was great. I expected it to be great with those two. I did like how they threw in, obviously we can't, with Teddy Long coming out and how great that was and fun to see him, Teddy Long. But I did like how they added stakes to the match. And they were like, hey, Cesaro, if you win, you get that title shot. Because, you know, we did see the match just a couple weeks ago at WrestleMania. So it was good that we were having a match that we knew was going to be good again, but they added a little extra wrinkle to it to make it matter some more. But like you said, with Seth Rollins specifically, I loved when he was yelling at the Usos. I loved how he went to Jay and he said, I'm not Roman. I don't need your help. Like when he specifically mentioned Roman, I'm not Roman. I don't need you. Like I'll take care of this. I thought that was amazing. And then I also thought, you know, after the Usos then cost him the match, Cesaro wins. And then in the back, when they have that moment with Seth and Roman, when those two are on screen together, the history of those two, it just feels different. You see them together and you're like, oh man, like those guys have been together since the beginning that they were here. Yeah. You know,
that's exactly it. And like, because of the fact that I don't think we'll see Dean Ambrose maybe ever back in WWE, I'm still holding out hope, but that's a discussion for a different day. It almost makes it mean more that these two have been together since the past because somebody has fallen off, right? I loved the fact that Roman and Seth, like Seth was the guy to close this out because it made him feel equal. Like usually Roman Reigns is the guy to get the last word in. And I think that it did present. Josh, I'll let you pick up from our good buddy. Tom hops in with a comment and makes me click the wrong one. Seth and Roman are main event SummerSlam, right? Yeah, I'll let you handle this so we can get Giddy some screen time too.
Oh my God. Well, all right. Well, so I will say that I kind of like the dynamic between Seth and Roman because I think Roman, while he's doing fantastic work, is just this, I think he may have this stigma against him that he hates everybody and everybody is like enemy, I guess you could say. But obviously showing with Seth that there's dynamics between him and Seth. There's obviously history with him and Seth, like you mentioned. But is something like with the position that Seth Rollins is in at the moment, where he's kind of, I don't want to say he's just there to help talent get, over or to the next step. Like, yes, okay, that's probably one of his roles, and that's definitely what he did with Cesaro. But Seth in this role where it would be the dynamic of Seth as a face, sure, it'd be fun, but long term, is that more interesting than just Seth being kind of, I'm saying in the sense of like SummerSlam is what, like 4 months away? How long are we from SummerSlam? Like 3-4 months? Like it's
usually kind of August, if I remember correctly, right?
Is it a little? Could you stretch this out until Mania? Could you stretch this out until Mania in 2 years? You know what I mean? Like keep this dynamic of like they're interacting, but not on a storyline surface, just kind of underneath what they're doing. Can you stretch this out?
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to jump in, but I think because of their history, this is one of those things that you can do this anytime you want. You know what I mean? Like you could You could sprinkle it now. Maybe there's a match, and then you could go away from it. And because of their history with the Shield and just everything, this could be something that they intertwine their careers until forever. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Is Seth Roman? Well, go on.
Perry hopping in to agree with you, Josh, though. No, I was just going to add to your point. Seth feels like a utility dude more than a cog, says Perry. Perry, thanks for joining. Josh, I'll let you continue there and pick up off of Joe's point.
The only thing that I think is Seth Roman bigger than SummerSlam? Is it Mania? Or is Seth Roman not Mania? Does that not scream? I don't know.
Done it, right? Like, and that's the thing is their Money in the Bank match was an absolute banger.
It's not like a talent issue. I know anytime they get in the ring, they'll just kill it. But like, is this big enough for Mania, or is it SummerSlam, or is it a B-level show? Who really knows?
They look at SummerSlam as a WrestleMania.
That's exactly it. And
so I think the two are almost it's a 1A 1B. We'll say for their top pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when you look at these two, like you can do it either SummerSlam or WrestleMania. I don't think that matters. I think their names are the marquee of either SummerSlam or WrestleMania. I think when you put them together, you could just have like a chapter one. I mean, how many times did we see like Hogan versus anybody at a WrestleMania, and then you almost saw that carry over to SummerSlam as well. They have the possibility of doing this still. They just have they need to really play it better with all the additional shows, the additional platforms that come with WWE now than back then, to make it in something you want to invest in. But I do think Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, like, as long as there's a reason to why it's happening, the history will bring everything and wrap it into formation, let's say.
Terry hopping in as well, and
that much.
Yeah, and a point I'll pick up off of right there. What is Seth's actual character right now? I agree, but the reason that I think that he doesn't have a very defined character is because we're heading to Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. And I think they're going to turn him babyface in the midst of all of this, which I'm really not 100% sold on, to be honest with you. He's flipped a little bit on that a little bit too often since returning. But the reason I brought up Money in the Bank, even just outside of the fact that it shows that they can go great against one another. But that for me was a real missed opportunity, and that was Seth Rollins' return match after he had busted his entire knee up and he returned as the heel. So whether or not this is going to be exactly, and well, and that was the mistake exactly. So I don't know if this is going to act as like a makeup of sorts. If it ends up happening, you know, I 100% could be wrong. But I think maybe this will act as the bit of the makeup match. Maybe, like you said, Joe, and we alluded to earlier, that having the Usos stay out of the match, saying I'm not Roman, making sure there's that clear line drawn of I'm not going to cheat. I wouldn't be shocked if it's Money in the Bank. I think that's after this pay-per-view. I wouldn't be shocked if we got Rollins and Cesaro versus the Usos.
I would love to see a Jimmy versus Jay match where if Jay wins, Jimmy's like forced to acknowledge Roman. But if Jimmy wins, Jay has to leave Roman. I think that would be a really cool storyline. That would eventually lead to the three of them joining back up to get against each other, because I think they're better together than they are separate.
Huge pop from Perry. He'll turn heel on Twitter soon enough. Well, if we're going to talk about heel turns, let's talk about surprise run-ins. We've got Mighty Joe from work. Hi, Joe.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Good to see you. How long are you here for? What would you like to make a point on? Because I really don't know what your time limit is here, so we'll give you the floor.
Right.
Oh, no, like I said, I just wanted to drop in at some point because we can never have too many Joes, right? So I just want to make sure that just wanted to hop on for a few seconds.
Well, you know what? Then you're back on timeout. Good to see you, Joe, but damn it.
Bye, Joe.
And, of course, we've got Ed hopping in. Really enjoy Parrish's gear there. I can't disagree.
I actually designed these. I've never designed gear before, and I actually designed these. So I'm actually proud of that. Especially the Love
Very, very cool.
Totally.
Yeah, very cool.
100%.
Now, I do want to get to it because it sort of leads to where I was going to go with my point. But when do you think we'll see Jay versus Jimmy? Parrish, the point you were making there about if like that potential Money in the Bank match that I was talking about if Jimmy loses this, he has to leave Roman Reigns, or if Jay loses this, whatever iteration you go by, I think we'll maybe see this to see if Jimmy like aligns with Roman Reigns. So I think we could see this as soon as in maybe not next week, but the week after. Like I'd say that we could see this before Backlash. If Backlash is 3 weeks away, I really wouldn't be shocked. Anyone else?
I don't think it's 3 weeks away, is it?
Backlash is a week from.
next a week.
Yeah,
from
it's like
2 weeks. There we are.
Yeah.
My
So
apologies.
we got one more week of shows, and then it's WrestleMania Backlash.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be shocked if it was added to the Backlash
Mania season backs me right off. Yeah, it could be on the Backlash card too. I wouldn't be shocked by that either. I really wouldn't be shocked by that either. Let's at least touch on a couple other things here. We had another interaction, thankfully, with Teddy Long, which I don't think we've been able to say in a long time. Thankfully, not in on Sami Zayn's conspiracy. We can confirm after tonight's SmackDown.
That was so good.
Another great thing. This was another fantastic segment, and in a very different way, obviously, than the opening segment. The opening segment was a very wrestling segment. This was just fun. Sami Zayn hops in, asking for an Intercontinental title match. Teddy tells Sami he's going one-on-one with The Undertaker, which is a dream match if I've ever heard one, and then goes on to announce a 10-man tag team match to main event before they all dance together backstage with Sonya Deville. Just fun. I don't really have anything else to say other than I really enjoyed this. Teddy Long, you want to talk about facial hair earlier, Josh? Good-looking facial hair on Teddy Long tonight. Good-looking gentleman, that Teddy Long. If I look as good as Teddy Long does I would have to assume like at least your early 60s, I'd be stoked. I'd be stoked if I was that handsome at that age.
Sami Zayn.
Anyone got a comment on it?
Sami Zayn.
Or even the age you are now. Just you're beautiful. Had to
Fuck
just
off. You know I'm
right
self-conscious that I tried to tie my hair back tonight. You know that.
You look great.
I'm self.
You look.
I
Great.
did.
I can't relate to you. I'm a baby.
Because I did have a candy store. I need it.
As the baby of Love Wrestling, I can't relate to age. Sorry.
Ouch.
No.
Ouch.
Jeez.
Well, I'm a little upset that Everything Pro Wrestling hopping in saying Josh and then saying Love Wrestling Crew. Great to see you, Conrad. Thank you guys for hopping in. If you guys are watching on YouTube tonight, make sure you go over after this stream is finished and show some support. They're doing just great, great things, and we love supporting people doing great things, and especially when they're as great as Conrad and crew. Sonya amassing power is a great, great sight. Yes, I am very excited about her. I think that one of the great tragedies in wrestling, quote unquote, and tragedies when you're talking about a pandemic is used in a very first world problems sense of the word, I stress. But the fact that that feud with Mandy Rose, the blow off for that at SummerSlam didn't have fans in front of it, that might be one of the biggest unfortunate circumstances in wrestling for me, because the work that all of the individuals involved in that, whether you're talking about Ziggler, Otis, Mandy, or Sonya, of course, all of them were absolutely incredible through that. And I'm very happy that she's back. I'm always concerned, as I'm sure all of you guys are too, when somebody's taken off for a loser leaves town match or a loser leaves WWE. Of course, A, if they're going to come back, but B, how they're going to bring them back if they're going to, because a stipulation like that, obviously it's going to be difficult to justify. So to have had her come back like this, really establish her character and still not step back into the ring yet, it's going to mean a lot when she does, and I'm absolutely psyched for it. Josh, I'll let you pick up from here. I happen to know that you're a fan of hers.
Oh, of course, I'm a fan of Miss DeVille. She can rock a suit. First and foremost, I don't mean any disrespect to any of us fine gentlemen here. We're all very handsome men. We could not rock a suit like Miss DeVille. We just couldn't.
No,
it's just I just, no offense, Parrish, but let's move on. So let's just go with, the fact that she can she can do that. But she kind of, when she come back as this authority figure, what, I don't know technically what her role is. I don't know her official title on screen. I guess she's just Adam Pearce's right-hand woman.
Assistant manager. No, Sonya, assistant.
Great office reference. I wasn't real like sure. I was like I want to see Sonya Deville in the ring, you know. I want to see, but she kind of fits this role really well. And obviously we found out that she's a great speaker last year. If anything, in the pandemic era, one thing that I was really, really keen on with no fans was promos. How good are you at a promo? Can you captivate me with no one in an arena? And she was one of the highlights. She could even possibly be the highlight, or at least the most surprising highlight of how great a promo she really is. And, you know, she's in a now predominant speaking role. She doesn't do anything but speak. That's her job at this current time. And to see the stuff on Raw and then it kind of collate with SmackDown, she does a really good job. And to show that she can actually do multiple things, she's versatile in the fact that it was a little throwaway comedy segment in the grand scheme of things with Teddy Long tonight. And she fit the role well. It's okay, you fit in here. You don't seem awkward. You don't seem uncomfortable. You just kind of thrown whatever you can and you can pick up whatever size they're throwing at you. It's cool.
Absolutely. Tom hopping in as well. Sonya Deville makes me want to give up on suits entirely. I will never even come close. You know, you're not far off there. And I think that, again, we can all speak to her confidence as half decent to handsome looking gentlemen in this chat and on this screen. But yeah, she rocks it much better than I ever will. Ed, she's come a long way from Tough Enough with Mandy. And you look at the rest of that season, obviously one individual notwithstanding, like Chelsea Green on that season as well. Tough Enough, underrated show. And if you guys have the opportunity, I know us Canadians can watch it on a site. Parrish, I'll send you a link. Yourself as well, Josh.
I actually own the first season on DVD.
Well, no, and I was going to say, make sure you check out World of Hurt, a Canadian-based sort of Tough Enough pseudo show. Lance Storm hosted season 1. Rowdy Roddy Piper hosted season 2. That is
a Rowdy shirt today.
Oh, I would have loved it. I just wore the Love Wrestling hoodie that I
have been known to do wardrobe changes on these shows.
You've done them once or twice. It happens. Ageless Josh hopping as well, and Wrestling Plug Inc.'s end of things. Anybody else got comments on that segment specifically outside of it was great and we want more of that in our professional wrestling?
I wouldn't mind seeing Sonya and Pierce kind of becoming the new GMs to Raw and SmackDown, and when they do a draft, they're the ones who are doing it. I would love to see that moving forward.
Completely agree. Again, the more Sonya amassing power, and I'm trying to scroll up to get your exact quote, Ed, but Sonya amassing power is a beautiful sight to see at all times. Ruby Riott wrestled Carmella. Very disappointing that we got a 3-minute match out of the two of them. I really did enjoy the finish, though. I will at least give it that. You can never discredit the work that the women do and the time that they're given. And you can say the same on AEW's end, too. We've had that complaint there, too. So let's call spades spades. At the very least, the women, both WWE and All Elite Wrestling, when they are on screen, they're making their time matter, no matter how long or short it is. I just wish it was longer. And I think that all of us would probably agree with that in some way, shape, or form, right?
I have a rant inside of me that I'm building up for all of this, and I don't know why. I'm very frustrated lately.
Oh yeah,
your content gets us a lot of views. Save it.
It's one of those things for me where it's like, I'm happy they're on my TV screen. I'm happy I'm seeing them in the ring, but they deserve more than what we've been seeing lately. You know what I mean?
As much as we all will agree that Roman Reigns and the storyline around him and his family is fantastic, did you need 4 or 5 segments for it tonight when you could have cut one of them, cut some time somewhere, and maybe given this a little bit extra?
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that, yes, you probably could. But that's one man's opinion. Kyle Shaw, is Sonya hurt? I remember when Paige got hurt, they made her the GM. No, I don't think so. I think that they're just really trying to stick by this not wrestling because of the loss to Mandy Rose stipulation. I can't begin to speculate on an injury. I haven't heard anything, so I'm going to go with no, but I've been wrong before. I will be wrong again. That much I can frickin' guarantee to you guys. But if we're going to talk about the women, let's talk about Bayley. Let's talk about Bianca Belair, because this was another great segment. If we're talking about wanting more time in the ring, at the very least, we got a very, very good promo segment. In the best possible ways, not a lot unique. It was a very heel face promo face off, for lack of a better way to put it. But both of these individuals are very good at those respective roles. JPJ, I'll turn to you. Parrish, next question, we'll turn to you first. I picked on Josh a lot on this end of things.
I just want JPJ a hug. Like, I literally want to go and give him a hug right now. He just looks so miserable, and I just want to hug him and make him feel better.
Everybody throw Josh some love in the chat.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I just watched a really sad scene in Days of Our Lives. JPJ, I'll let you pick up on the majesty that is Bayley and Bianca Belair. It's a lot of B's in one sentence. I'm glad I got through that.
I know. I love this segment too. This was one of the standout segments to me too. I love Bayley. I love Bianca. I love Bayley going through the list of former champions and like complimenting them, but then throwing in the one little,
they're not as good as
they're
me.
so great, but they're slightly not on my level. My reign was this instead. Like she's been great for a while, like a long time, but she's been really good with this character in this whole pandemic era. I think she's been, her and Sasha, I think, are the top two throughout this whole thing for me. And then Bianca is just a superstar. And I love seeing her get I know Bayley attacked her first, but I loved seeing Bianca get really aggressive there for a little bit and just take her out for a little bit before Bayley got the edge again. So, I love the segment. I'm excited for their match. I'm really excited for their match.
I agree. The one comment that I had out, like you touched on a lot of the ones that I did have. The one thing that I appreciated with this is that they made Bayley look really, really great. Like at some point in every feud, you have to have the heel come out on top. I think they did a really good job of making her come out on top while still making Bianca Belair look strong,
Yes, I agree.
But like I said, you touched on a lot of it. Actually, you know what? Let's just throw the comments in there and then we'll get to you, Parrish. Remember when it was laughable to imagine Bayley as a heel? Yeah, I do. And I feel shame for ever doubting that decision, I should say. One thing I will give WWE credit for is that a lot of people like that, whether it was Bayley, whether it was Gargano, whether it was Sami Zayn, a lot of their unturnable people have oddly enough been their best heel turns. I think that's a testament to the performers more than the bookings in some cases, obviously, but that there's no other way to put it. Like if you would have told me 5-6 years ago that Sami Zayn would be one of the top heels in WWE, I would have laughed. This is a guy introduced in Montreal by Bret Hart to wrestle John Cena in his first match on the main roster, and he's going to be one of the great heels? What? No, that makes no sense. First good character Bayley's ever played. I would respectfully disagree, but I'm a huge sucker for her NXT run. I'm a huge sucker for that NXT run. And I feel like they remembered Bayley is amazing. Use her. Yes. All of that. Parrish, to you, friend. I'll even give you the big screen. I've cut you off a lot.
I'm huge. No, I mean, I truly believe Bayley's been one of the MVPs in the last couple of years. When everyone wants to say it's this person, that person, like Sasha, Roman, whatever, I think Bayley has legitimately earned that role of being one of the best females in the last 5 years. And it's simply just because she might even be the Connor McDavid of the women's division. And if you're not a hockey fan, the guy's just amazing. But she is one of those people that is now main event WrestleMania worthy. Just like what Becky Lynch turned herself into, what Charlotte Flair has turned herself into. Asuka now is that. Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair are in that
conversation,
to get there. Sasha Banks is now there, and I say is now for reasons we can get that to later. But Bayley, I think,
we'll talk on Sunday brunch,
cemented herself now as one of the top women in the last decade, and I would love to see her get that position. Unfortunately, I don't see her on SmackDown much longer. I think when there's a draft, she will go to Raw, and I think we might even see Becky Lynch go to SmackDown. But I think Bayley right now, after Bianca, the only place for her to go is to Raw, unfortunately.
I don't disagree. I really don't disagree. But like it's because she's done it all. It isn't like, again, it's the need for the shakeup in the most positive ways, right? Like it's the same way that I say Randy Orton
would be amazing.
Oh yeah, bring that back 110%. Go Sabres, please don't make fun of me. Don't worry. Like in the nicest way possible, as an Oilers fan, I think we've got to do some great things outside of just
you cheer for the Sabres.
We had a tough decade for the Oilers. Hey, leave friends alone.
I did go to school quite honest. Drew Stafford though.
Hey, Nito Burrito. A couple of quicker things to touch on, to be honest with you. Otherwise, I think we've done a good job of touching on Roman Reigns and the situation there outside of talking about the main event, but we can get there when we're closing the show out. The couple of quicker hits. We had Dominic Mysterio wrestle Dolph Ziggler. It happened. I understand why they were doing it to push the story forward, but really nothing there. Yeah, it's not like it was a 25-minute match. It's not like it was anything like that. It was to just push the story forward. Ed, I like that comment. We'll get there after we rip through these quick hits. Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso's backstage segment, again, I thought was very good at continuing along the tension between should we stay or should we go, to quote the late, great Joe Strummer. Shit, now I feel bad. Mick Jones sang that song. Tamina wrestled Reginald. Yeah, that happened. Frustrating, very, very frustrating. Like, especially considering the fact that, like, let's get real here. Tamina's had a real string of bad luck with injuries and that sort of stuff through her career. But because of that, this is like the best run she's had. And you go ahead and you throw a match against Reginald in there. Like, it's, I just don't like whether it's him, whether it was Ellsworth when he was with the WWE. I don't like when men are the focal points of the women's division, the same way I don't like love triangle storylines being the focal point of the men's division, right? Like, I'm just not a fan. To each their own. If you're a fan, cool. It just isn't for me, you know?
Why the women division needs jobbers too. It
needs jobbers, but this wasn't even really a jobbing.
They are amazing.
Well, yeah.
It's just a position and a role you need to have when you're the WWE. I mean, Zack Ryder did it a lot. Dana Brooke did it a lot. You need more Dana Brooks for these specific reasons.
Hey, and there's no shame or disrespect in being a jobber. If I could make money to lose a match on TV, I'd do it if I wasn't such a weakling, pansy, can't take pain, whatever phrase you want to throw on it. But this for me, like, again, even when it comes to Ellsworth, and I really don't like using him as the comparison, it's just an easy one. Like, at least when he was wrestling, it was because he was going out to lose in like 30 seconds to Asuka or whoever it may be. Like, even with this, it's nothing against Reginald. The guy's obviously an incredible athlete, but should he be going in there and flipping around Tamina when the idea is let's push her in Natalya? I personally think no. Like, Parrish, you talk about a jobber. This is where it would be cool to bring in, I don't even have a name. Jobber A. Bring her in, have Tamina beat her, and then run this beatdown angle, right?
It's bring like one of the chicks from NXT that doesn't get used very often and just be like, hey, we got a spot for you. Can you do the job here? Get some exposure.
Magumadati, a Barry Horowitz reference. Wow, yeah, to be honest with you, Parrish pops me often with some of the references. Perry, happy to answer a question. I really don't want to ask such a loaded question, but should Tamina have a job in WWE? You know what, man? Like, yes, 100% in my opinion, and I say that as someone who, with full respect for the job any wrestler does, maybe wouldn't have agreed with that statement 2, 3, 4 years ago. Like I said, she had a real bad run with injuries. And when there are so many talented women in WWE, I don't mean this to sound like a dick, but like, people get lost in the shuffle, whether male, female, non-binary, whatever, in professional wrestling if you're not consistently there. I'm very happy to see this, just on the fact that she's never had the opportunity to get a push like this outside of when she first came on with the Usos, right? That was cut short by an injury. She came back, she had a run, that was cut short. Like, you know, I at least, and it's such a cheesy, cliche way to put it, but I'm firmly of the belief that at least if you get the opportunity to go out, prove yourself, and you fall flat on your face, then maybe. I can never be someone to decide if someone should have a job because, frankly, I've never wrestled, never will, and people who do have a lot more talent for it than I ever will just because of that. But
to throw a comparison to Tamina's way, like Wade Barrett was the exact same way. Anytime any steam came his way, he got hurt and the kind of push failed. We forget that Mr. Anderson or Mr. Kennedy got a world title opportunity taken away from him because of a misdiagnosed injury. These things just happen in wrestling, but Tamina, she just needs steam. And it almost seems that she just can't get steam. But once she gets steam, she proves people wrong.
I agree. You know what? And at the end of the day, to steal another cliche from every professional wrestling promoter, podcaster, and personality out there, the fans make the calls. And I don't think there's much argument that she was one of the individuals who got the loudest cheers at WrestleMania this year. Yep. She's getting chants. And that was, like, again, a surprisingly hot crowd. I was firmly of the belief it'd sound quieter because you've got big building, smaller amount of people. People loved her. People absolutely loved her. The context of why she got hired due to everything with Vince and Jimmy, admittedly, I wouldn't be 100% versed to be able to comment on a lot of that stuff. Jimmy Snuka and Tamina Snuka, though, are two very, very different people. I'll just stay out of that one. I'm never going to shy away from it.
To judge one person based on who came before them, just like in the world, like we can't be based on our great grandfathers and things like that. We are our own people, and we should be judged based on what we do, not what somebody else does.
Throwback, thank you for the cheer, my friend. I was like an Amazon Echo show with everyone saying throwback, loving the old school fun and old school look, and fun to see how WWE uses their other shows for their old school shows. Who is someone you see Roman feuding for? Lee is my pick when he gets back. I'm of the belief that it'll be Seth Rollins at least up until SummerSlam in some way, shape, or form. Cesaro tossed in there. Who will be the feud after that? I'd love Keith Lee. I'd love Aleister Black. I've been surprised. I think this is now the second week that he hasn't had a vignette, which is, knock on wood, a little concerning given the history, but I'd love to see that. I think everybody at this point would love to see that, considering he's back on TV. I don't know, though. There are a lot of great people out there, and especially considering the draft, like, I'd have no issue with running back Orton and Reigns, right? Like, I was really excited for their Survivor Series match last year, and I would have no issue with that. No issue with that whatsoever. Thanks, guys. Well answered. No, Perry, seriously, as cheesy as it sounds when I say it, thank you. We appreciate you guys taking the time to tune in. It's a Friday night, and I'm sure we're not the only live professional wrestling recap show out there. So the fact you guys took the time to hop in tonight, shoot the shit, enjoy the time that we are having here tonight, it is appreciated on our end. We've got about 10-15 minutes left here on Love Wrestling React, so of course, feel free to throw your questions in there, whether SmackDown related or otherwise. We're happy to chat, but feel free to throw them in there. Throwback, figured I'd stop in before bed. 6 a.m. Eastern, gets here fast. Yes, friend. However, I will see you around that time anyways. I've got some stuff to get done. I've got an interview tomorrow that I'm real excited to share with all of you guys. I've had some good ones lately. I did a good one today. I'm really excited. Things are good. Stick around. I'll announce that one on Sunday Brunch this Sunday. Parrish, throw it out there, my friend. I'm happy to hear it.
I think on these recap shows, we should talk about who was our MVP of tonight's show. Who impressed?
I like that.
Who stood out? Because
I like that. Do you want to? I was going to say,
one guy that stood out to me
go first
was Chad Gable. The intensity in that tag match I saw was phenomenal. This guy should be given an opportunity for one of the mid-card titles. Yeah. I really love to see more Chad Gable.
Wrestling Plug Inc., are you interviewing me? Sure. Let's do mine behind. Send me a DM or a Slack chat. I'm happy to have it. Happy to have you on. JPJ, I'll move to you next then, or Parrish, I'll let you host this segment. Parrish, you pick who's going next.
JPJ.
Rock and roll.
As I tickled the
But sorry, I know I shot first, asked questions later, but I at least tried to make up for it.
Well, I think we all know that, Spencer, you can say something, and you know what? I'm just going to redo it, and it's better if blown off stream was any.
I was going to ask if, not for streaming purposes, but if you guys want to play some Among Us tonight, I'm down. I'm going to play some Pokemon Snap first for sure.
Oh,
but,
Pokemon Snap.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Before I go with my MVP, I do want to say they had that 10-man tag, which was a fun little match they had. The promos between each of the teams reminded me of old school Survivor Series team promos.
Yeah.
And it was a small thing. They were like 30-second promos before they went to a commercial, right? So it was a small thing. But when I was watching them, the heel team went first, and they were all together, like looking at each other. And Sami Zayn isn't believing a word Apollo Crews is saying, but they're aligned still. And then I just got old school, Survivor Series team promos from like the early 90s Survivor Series I rented when video stores were a thing. Anyway, but besides that. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
The thing, no worries. The thing, like for me, I think that the best way I can put it is normally when I hear a 10-man tag match announced on a main event or be the last match of a show, my first thought is, sweet, I've got 15 minutes to get stuff done before the recap. Those promos got me excited for it.
Yeah, they were cool.
I know how blanket statement this is, but that's what a promo is supposed to do, is get you excited about a professional wrestling match, right? So I'll let you pick up there. Actually, you know what? Perry, Ed, we'll get to your questions here before we close it out. We'll handle the MVPs, then we'll get to those. I'm not going to miss those, though, I promise, because they're two great questions. So JPJ, pick it up from there. Sorry, buddy.
For this episode, I thought the MVP was the returning Jimmy Uso. I think it was just it was an exciting start to get him back, because I know regardless of the character, like the Usos are one of the best tag teams of all time. I'm glad they're back in whatever happens, and then I just love the story. I love how he stood up to Roman, and I love how the one-on-one with Jay, where he was like, nah, man, like, you don't need to be doing this. Like, you're doing his dirty work. Like, he's tricking you and blah, blah, blah. And then the end with everything where you could tell he was torn, but it's still his family. So he went in there and went after Cesaro. Like, I just thought the story told and his promo work throughout the night, I thought he was the guy that was the anchor of the show tonight.
Yeah.
Which he should have been. It was his big return. He should be the focal point, So.
Exactly. Make a big deal of it, right? Parrish, you get to pick. See, I didn't cut you off here this time.
I pick my favorite hug of the night, Josh.
Well, my MVP is Bailey's hair. Bailey's hair would be
Bailey's hair. Huh?
What glorious head of hair that woman has. It was just sitting there and it didn't move for the entire time. I was like, that's...
It's like, what was her name? What was her name? The costume / super suit designer in The Incredibles.
Oh, I didn't watch The Incredibles. What's my jam?
No. Lord, you're reaching for a throwback reference, aren't you?
No, I'm just trying, because my first thought was, oh yeah, it's Yzma, but that's Emperor's New Groove. So
what a movie.
Either way.
How about you go?
What a film!
I'll IMDb it, and I'll let you know.
All right, that sounds good. My MVP tonight was Cesaro, and again, I know a pretty easy pick to make, but the guy stands tall to close out the show. You got to give some credence to that. The guy laid 3 dudes out. There we are. Sorry to cut my point off. Edna Mode, thank you. Appreciate it. She had hair like Edna Mode today.
Okay, good, because it doesn't say who that was. So I wouldn't have known. I never saw
Daria's best friend. Well played to wrestling plug. But yeah, Cesaro in there. And I again want to stress that promo I think was fantastic, despite it being short. Keep things concise and emotional. You don't need it to be the big, long, drawn-out promo. If it's short, it's concise, it's emotional, it's drawing people in. That's all you need. And I think that Cesaro did a fantastic job of that tonight.
Ooh, I have an idea, by the way, a promotional idea. How about instead of saying tonight's MVP, we say it's the RK's Athletic Pump of the Night?
Okay. We'll figure that out. We'll clear with the sponsors, but one thing we don't need to clear with the sponsors is the fact that they do an excellent job. They've cleared that already. If you guys want to search up RK Athletics on social media, you can find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at RK Athletics 1. It's been nice for me, admittedly, as Parrish said, things have fluctuated a little bit here in Alberta over the last little bit, but RK Athletics has been a huge, huge help. We got some one-on-one fitness training going on because I'm lucky enough to live in YEG, and now that we're getting a little bit more shut down and that, we're transitioning to some one-on-one online stuff. You guys can pretty obviously tell these aren't big arms by any means as I get the fitness journey started, but I do certainly appreciate doing it with Rich. So if you guys have the opportunity, make sure you check him out on social media at RK Athletics 1 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, Perry, we will cover yours first because you asked first. On Tom's stream, we discussed KO naming his kid Owen and his surname being Owens. As I predominantly think Brits, we think the Canadians do patriotism correctly. What are your thoughts as a Canuck? It's somewhat, you know what, like in the nicest way possible. I see my patriotism as very sports related. I cheer for my teams at the Olympics. I very much support Canadian professional wrestlers. Do I support Canada doing cool things? Yeah. I don't have 40 Canadian flags by any means, as you see in some places in the world. I think we do an okay job of it. I think we're A1 with our patriotism. I wouldn't disagree
A1,
there.
like the A1 and TNA from Team Canada. I like that reference. I know you didn't think of that.
No, that was actually Parrish. You're reading my mind. There we go. Attaboy, Josh. Represent.
I think people know that I'm Australian. I don't talk about it that often.
Little known fact, the Canadian flag used to be the Union Jack because of its British parents.
I will say that we are all a part of the Commonwealth. We all have that in common. We all have that in Commonwealth.
Spencer, our football team, because we're not allowed to
get out, Josh.
Play at Commonwealth Stadium.
So bad. and then we've got Joe from Boston, the scene of that famous tea party or whatever.
That was a good time. We were
familiar with my history.
Tea Party, a great Canadian band, by the way.
Hell yeah! Now there's a shout, Parrish, that I can get behind. Now we're closing out here. Before we get to Ed's question, just want to make sure: is there anything else specific anybody wants to touch on that we haven't yet from Smackdown tonight? Because Ed's got our minute or less segment covered off with the question he's got in the comment. Josh, I will let you step up to the plate.
I just want to say that in the next couple of days, pop to the YouTube channel that you're on. If you're on YouTube right now, I'll have my thoughts on what I think about what's going on with women in wrestling because I'm a little bit PO'd lately.
I don't disagree. However, I will leave my thoughts until after Josh gives his. That's always a good kick point. And I would highly just suggest show Josh some love everywhere you've got the opportunity, whether it's the Twitter machine, whether it's the Facebook machine. Josh, I saw you in the comments earlier, so I don't know if you still have them open, but hop in there, throw your Twitter handle and throw your YouTube link in there if you haven't added them to the Nightbot thing already, because if we're going to talk about supporting good people doing good things in pro wrestling, that gentleman right there, that gentleman right there has been hugging all night. Josh deserves some love. Josh deserves some love. So show that guy some support every opportunity you've got. And Josh, I know you're throwing them in the comment section, but we will let you plug your stuff at the end of the show here as well. However, if we've got nothing else on the Smackdown, and I will let this be our 1 minute or less segment that I like to close most of our shows out with here on Love Wrestling. Ed throwing in the chat, do you think Becky has fallen behind the other horsewoman? Also, Among Us sounds fun. Shoot me a DM. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but we'll figure that out post stream. Josh, you hop on her, my friend. You got the big screen.
No, you don't.
That's
So let me just, do you think Becky has fallen behind the other horsewomen? Becky's been out having a baby for the last year or so. I don't think that's a relevant question.
Okay. All righty. Well, then I will now actually go back to Parrish. Parrish, I got it right this time, thank goodness.
Yay. Second time's a charm. But no, she hasn't, because just because they're not there, not present, doesn't mean that they have fallen off or did anything terrible or bad just to like not get their spot. She's just away. And because of that, when she comes back, you're going to be over the moon when she's back because you remember all the good things she did. You remember the visual of when she took the shot from Nia Jax. She's bleeding and she just invaded and she looked like the second coming of Stone Cold Steve Austin, because that's truly what it reminded you of. No, she's not falling off, because as soon as she comes back, that's a statement back on why she actually belongs on the top of the 4 horsewomen, in my opinion. No, just ask yourself that same question if Charlotte gets pregnant or Bayley gets pregnant or Sasha gets pregnant and you don't see them for a year. I think you got to really look at that in that perspective too.
JPJ, screen is yours.
I agree with it's a no. If Becky comes back tomorrow, she's going to be presented as the top woman on whatever show she's on. I just think that's what it is. You know, she was the top star, not even man or woman. She was the top star in the company until she left because she got pregnant and had to leave. And when she comes back, I think she will be immediately presented as not just the top woman, but as a top star in the company. That's just what I think. And I don't know how long you can wait, but I'm hoping that they save that one for fans. Because I don't want her to come back where they get to generate the noise that they do for it. Like, I want that. Like, the rumor is that SummerSlam is going to be the first. They're going to come back and like be in front of live people for then on. Well, if that's the case, then you know what? I would like her to come back at SummerSlam, or I would like her to come back the Raw after, or whatever. But like, I want people there because like, I know we're answering Ed's question, but like, Magoo Minati said, the pop Becky's going to get for her return is going to be like a bomb going on. It's going to be one of the loud pops we remember forever.
Just remember Edge at the Royal Rumble. Like it might not be as emotional, but it's going to be just as loud because that's how big of a star she is. And honestly, ask yourself, who else in the women's division is that big of a star that's not named Ronda Rousey? And I say this because Ronda Rousey was a star outside of WWE. She is the biggest WWE women's superstar in the last 20 years.
No. And Ed hopping in with a good point as well, too. In terms of falling behind of time off of becoming a mom, more talking about how the other horsewomen have really dialed in their characters. While at the end of Becky's run, she was very back and forth. And I do buy into that, too. Like, when she was coming out near the end with the crown and the big mink coat and all of that, I wasn't a huge fan. I think that was definitely for me the low point of what was like inarguably an excellent all-time great women's run. For me, the 4 horsewomen are like pizza, man. Even your least favorite pizza out there is still a pretty friggin' good pizza.
It has pineapple, and I like pineapple on my pizza.
So not starting that debate here. That's a love wrestling taboo topic. Like Becky, the only reason I would say she had fallen behind, quote unquote, it would be personal preference at this point. I think that the 4 of them right now, and even Becky before she took off that last couple of months after Mania, everybody looks poorly on that Shayna Baszler feud because of the way it started, and rightfully, at least as far as the way it did start. But Becky really hit all strides after the Royal Rumble that year. I think that she's going to come back as good as she had been prior. And when you've got her firing, Sasha firing like she was before WrestleMania and for the last year, Bayley looking like she's going to get back because like it's again just an egregious omission that she wasn't on the WrestleMania card this year. And then Charlotte Flair. There's really not else you need to say about that.
That'd be a nice Mania main event next year, right? The 4 of them fighting for one of the women's titles, maybe.
Question for you guys: what would be a bigger main event? All 3 Shield guys in a triple threat, or all 4 women out of the 4 horsewomen?
I would go with the horsewomen.
Yeah, I'd go with the horsewomen at this point.
The women.
I'd go because what was it? Was it Battleground 2016? They did the Shield main event.
Yeah. Yeah,
Battleground. They've thrown away a couple of matches like that. Like they did No Mercy. Like was it Cena versus Reigns at No Mercy or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, they had the Shield, the Shield versus the Wyatts. Was that like Elimination Chamber or something like that? Like, okay. I mean, they were all awesome matches, but it's like you can't make that one of the big ones that matter. You know, like one of the big ones. You know?
I think
don't disagree with you at all.
Honestly, meant horsewomen, not horsemen.
Yeah.
I could be wrong,
whatever.
but please correct me, Ed, if I'm speaking out of turn.
I'd also have a lot of time for the argument that the Four Horsemen were better than the Shield as well. Josh,
no, that's just a truth.
have we gotten to the plugging things part? I'm really not sure. I always feel like I'm missing stuff on these shows. Do we want to plug some things?
Sure.
Cool? Fine with you guys.
Can you put that link in the last time, the one for streamer? I think that's
yes, I absolutely can. And Parrish, I will even let you kick it off. Talk to me a little bit about the link you can see right there.
Well, I mean, this is just a great thing to do. Donating, you see it down, tiltify.com/@putting-u-over/St. Jude. It's going to a great cause. I think we talk so much about, where you could follow us, but we don't necessarily say, hey, this is a great cause. Follow your attention to a good cause, and this is a great cause right here. And I really do believe that helping other people in this time, this era of the world, is the better thing to do moving forward. We talk about people collaborating in wrestling, coming together, helping each other, being better for the business. We need to do this more outside of wrestling and with just our own human aspects. The more we do this, the world is a better place.
I completely agree. We'll bring that link back up near the end of the stream, which, we're getting closer to, but there's still time to say we're getting close to the end of the stream. St. Jude's Children's Hospital does great work all across North America. Just helping kids with medical issues. They tackle off too many things for me to go through and list them all. They do incredible work. If you guys want to check them out yourself, they're all over social media. Obviously, check out their website. But if you want to show some support to some other great people, of course, Putting You Over, part of Love Wrestling, some adjacent individuals to us, I suppose, and Streamer and Vanessa and all the other great individuals over there. Again, doing some great things for great people, not just being great people themselves. Make sure to show them some support. Josh, I am going to move to you next. I tried to have you put yourself over in the comments there, but I saw you did.
My Twitch froze, so I was just like, whatever.
It's okay. We'll improvise. This is what they call calling it in the ring, brother.
Yeah, I'll just call it on the fly, eh? So I said A like a Canadian. Am I
we're rubbing off on you.
Oh no! All right, so you can follow me on Twitter at Josh Robinson _00. I am always tweeting, always trying to have some fun on Twitter. Twitch.tv/Josh Robinson 00. I'm live 4 or 5 times a week. Just having a laugh. You can laugh at me how bad I am at playing video games. Usually playing a lot of wrestling games, but I play other games as well. If you wrestling's not your shtick, but if you're here, you probably like wrestling. I would just like to, while I have the opportunity to say, next month is June, which is Pride Month. I'll be doing a couple of charity streams throughout the month. I'll have more details than that. Just head to my Twitter and I'll have some stuff. And I can pretty confidently say that probably we'll do something Pride related here on Love Wrestling with my stuff. I'm sure I'll talk to Spencer about that as well. But that's what I've got coming up. And just stick to my videos and stuff, which, by the way, I should probably say, I haven't had the opportunity to say this on like a Love Wrestling stream since. Thanks for all the love on all my videos lately that I've been producing for Love Wrestling, because they've been doing honestly very well. I know it's not all about numbers, but it is nice to see like what the hell people are actually watching what I put my effort and time into. So thank you for that. I should probably say I'll speak for Spencer as well. I'm sure he would agree. But thanks for all the love on them because it's a lot of fun.
I completely agree. And as I said, check out Josh's stuff. Whether it's on Love Wrestling, whether it's his own, he's a great individual doing great things. As the next guy getting the screen is JPJ. Where can the people find you?
Yes, I am at Joseph_Poulin Jr. on the Twitter machine, as Chris Jericho says. I am also on Instagram, same. I know the last couple of weeks we've been off. Sometimes life happens sometimes, but the Wall Report will be returning this coming Thursday. With me and my buddy, the franchise Matt. And then I think there might be an announcement coming somewhat soon, maybe about something else I'm working on with one of our other friends in the Love Wrestling crew. So there's some big things happening, but I'm excited to get back after it with the Wool Report on Thursday. I was excited to be a part of this tonight, and the more I can be on here and talk about wrestling with you guys and whoever else on other ones, like, the happier I am. So, yeah.
I appreciate it, JPJ. And as another member of Love Wrestling says, you got to strike while the iron is hot. Don't wait. So maybe we figure out some way to announce her on Sunday brunch this Sunday if you're going to be there, and if your compatriot's going to be there as well. Great videos, Josh. I completely agree on that one. And then we've got the JPJ emotes thrown in there from Ed. If you guys want to get access to any of the exclusive emotes we've got here on Love Wrestling, there's one way to do it. Throw us a subscription on Twitch. If you're watching, there's just one step. Just hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to gift one to somebody who was watching tonight, feel more than free to spread the love as well. Of course, we guys are all about that here. If you guys are on YouTube, if you guys are on Facebook, thank you guys for supporting there. If you want to go over to the Twitch machine and show some love there as well, feel more than free. But just tuning in, as we mentioned a couple of times through the stream, on a Friday night when there's lots of other professional wrestling programming out there, it is thoroughly appreciated. I'm getting shirts in this Sunday. We will be shipping them out first thing Monday morning. So if you guys want to get in on the pre-order, head to lovewrestling.ca/shop. We've not only got those there, our exclusive collaboration with Sea of Dead based out of Calgary, Alberta, but we've got our masks. We've got our stickers. We've got lots of great stuff coming down the pipe. So please feel more than free to head there if you want to show some support as well. And last but not least, if you want to head to ratethispodcast.com to not slide all over that one, /Love Wrestling CA. We're trying to become a top 10 podcast in Canada. Once again, it would be appreciated if you could give us a hand there. We would love it. Haha. Funny little pun on our name there. Get it, you guys? Because we're Love Wrestling.
You told me off before. You told me off before, but then you go and do that.
Okay, Josh, your scolding is revoked. If that helps, you're unscolded, I suppose. Let's raid someone, and you know what? I've got
Spencer,
someone in mind. Oh, yes.
Before we do that, this is an important time because everyone out there, we wouldn't be here doing what we love, which is wrestling, because we love wrestling, if it wasn't for our mothers. So if you haven't done anything yet, in 2 days it is Mother's Day, make sure you go out and you do something for your mother if you have that availability to do so. It's very important. Let's not forget. You got to take this opportunity to thank Mom, because she's the best, right?
Don't disagree with you at all, Parrish, and that is a great place to close off at least our portion of the stream. If you guys are watching on Facebook and YouTube, thank you once again for tuning in to Love Wrestling Reacts. We should be back on Monday. We're sort of calling these in the ring as we go on the Love Wrestling Reacts end of things, but if we got the people available, we can guarantee that we will be back here immediately following the closing bell of Monday Night Raw, of MLW Fusion's draft episode next week, Impact, hopefully Smackdown, and everything else in between. If you guys are watching on Twitch, we're going to go say hi to a good friend. We're going to go say hi to Justine. So in about 5 seconds, I think I missed the button. Now I'm ruining freaking everything on my end of things. There we go. You guys are going to see the Raid Now button hopping up in about 10 seconds here. So friends, thank you once again. I know I speak for JPJ. I know I speak for Josh, and I know I speak for Parrish when I tell you guys how appreciated it is that you took the time to tune in tonight. Twitch friends, we will see you on Justine's channel. Everyone else, will see you on the other side. Thanks for tuning in.